Hi YouTube, I'm going to read from Buffalo News, calling for Obama to finish the job. And this is from the Democratic National Convention. I saw this laying around. I usually like to share news stories that I find are really nice. I'm just going to go ahead and read the full article here. First Lady makes a rousing, personalized appeal for 4 more years. Charlotte, North Carolina. First Lady Michelle Obama ended the opening session of the Democratic National Convention on Tuesday night with a rousing defense of her husband's performance, making the case for 4 more years, allowing him to finish the job. At the end of an evening program focused largely on bashing Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney, Michelle Obama was resolved to accentuate the positive. She never mentioned Romney, focusing instead on portraying President Obama as a man of character who has worked hard to promote the middle class and who deserves re-election. In a highly personal address and in a video that recalled her modest Chicago upbringing, the First Lady recalled the experiences of the last 4 years traveling the country as her husband's top representative, calling the Americans she has met the very best of the American spirit. Like so many American families, our families weren't asking for much. They didn't begrudge anyone else's success or care that others had much more than they did. In fact, they admired it, she said. They simply believed in the fundamental American promise that even if you don't start out with much, if you work hard and do what you're supposed to do, then you should be able to build a decent life for yourself and an even better life for your kids and grandkids. While thousands of delegates displayed signs reading, "We love Michelle," and cheered her every sentence, she said that she and her husband learned from the examples set by their own families. At the end of the day, when it comes time to make that decision as president, all you have to guide you are your values and your vision and the life experiences that make you who you are, she said. So when it comes to rebuilding our economy, Barack is thinking about folks like my dad and like his grandmother. She then cited her husband's accomplishments, mentioning that the administration took steps to ensure equal pay and equal pay for equal work for women, increasing student aid, and especially healthcare reform. He did it because he believes that here in America, our grandparents should be able to afford their medicine. Our kids should be able to see a doctor when they're sick, and no one in this country should ever go broke because of an accident or illness. And he believes that women are more than capable of making our own choices and about our bodies and our health care. That's what my husband stood for. Indeed, women spoke from the podium throughout the Tuesday session, emphasized reproductive freedom as a distinctly democratic ideal that will be protected under a second Obama administration and threatened under Romney. In the crowd's most enthusiastic response for any woman addressing the convention besides the First Lady may have been reserved for Lilly Ledbetter, whose experience as a woman who received less pay for the same job performed by a man inspired the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. She pointed out that women still make only 77 cents for every dollar earned by a man. Maybe 23 cents doesn't sound a lot to someone with a Swiss bank account, Cayman Island investments, and an IRA worth tens of millions of dollars, she said to cheers filling the Time Warner Cable Arena. But Governor Romney, when we lose 23 cents every hour, every day, every paycheck, every job over our entire lives, what we lose can't just be measured in dollars. Several Democratic members and candidates introduced by House Leader Nancy Pelosi stressed reproductive rights, while former President Jimmy Carter, in a video, praised President Obama for instituting healthcare reform he sought during his administration. "It was a dream overdue when I called for it 36 years ago, Carter said, adding that Obama's foreign policy has resulted in a restoration of trust and goodwill around the world, definitely. Another video introduced by Joseph Kennedy III, a candidate for Congress, extolled the memory of the late Massachusetts Senator Edward Kennedy and produced some of the evening's most robust cheers. It featured clips from the 1994 senatorial debate between Kennedy and Romney, in which Romney espoused several opinions on abortion and health care, for which he is criticized now for flip-flops. Democrats in Charlotte on Tuesday made the same outward appeal to Hispanics as the Republicans made in Tampa, Florida. The keynote speaker address came from San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro, who outlined his rise from humble roots and emphasized Obama's Democratic Party as the way for others to make their rise too. Romney's Republican party offers a much different vision, he said. We know that in our free market economy, some will prosper more than others. We don't accept this idea that some folks won't even get a chance, he said. And the thing is, Mitt Romney and the Republican Party are perfectly comfortable with that America. In fact, that's exactly what they're promising us. The proposed Romney-Ryan budget would cut Medicare, transportation funding, and education programs, and that would have a devastating impact, Castro said. It doesn't pummel the middle class, it dismantles it, he said of the GOP plan. Meanwhile, Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel extolled the auto industry bailout and noted that Romney opposed it. Now, one thing I know with absolute certainty, having served two great presidents, is that in the next 4 years, an unforeseen crisis, challenge, or conflict is going to seize this country, he said. Whose leadership, whose judgment, whose values do you want in the White House when that crisis lands like a thud in the Oval Office? A person who said in 4 words, "Let Detroit go bankrupt," or a president who had another 4 words, "Not on my watch." The message is contrasted sharply with what Michelle Obama set out to do. Her remarks served as the highlight of a session that continually emphasized the party's devotion to the middle class, while portraying the Republican Party as too ideological for the average voter. They were seen as a pitch to women voters, who the latest Gallup polls favors the president over Romney by a tally of 50 to 42%. The First Lady emphasized such gains under the Obama administration as his health care reform plan, which she said makes it easier for working families and could be endangered under Romney. Her remarks came at the end of the first day of a 3-day convention, which featured a lively, engaged, even raucous audience. Where is it? Raucous crowd that seemed to hang on to every word of every speaker. For 6 hours, they cheered, chanted, and sang. Students and firefighters traded space at the podium with the politicians as the party set out to counter the themes of the GOP convention. Tonight's session of the Democratic Convention features a speaker by former President Bill Clinton, which was fact-checked, and it was a fact-checker's worst nightmare. And if anything I say, Paul Ryan is in fact a job creator, if you count fact-checkers in there. Have a great day, YouTube, and Obama 2012, because the alternative is just icky.